Check. Yo, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video today. So you already know that SICKO mode video dropped, and there was so many effects in that video. If you haven't checked out my breakdown, editor's breakdown, is not a regular reaction. I'll put the link. I'll have it pop up somewhere up here. Check it out. I kind of talk about in depth what just what was going on through my head as I was watching the video, kind of seeing what the effects were about and stuff like that. So in that video, I also mentioned I was gonna tackle some challenges and see if there's any effects that I can kind of recreate. And I was just doing some research. The hardest one that I thought would be the most difficult to recreate, the face one where Drake covered in these weird shaped polygon type things. I just thought it would be interesting to take on that challenge, try to recreate that effect. If you look closely, you will notice that behind his face is a skull. The way I did this is kind of different. It's not in the same aspect of exactly how they did it, but it just kind of gives us, everyone, the idea of kind of moving towards the right path. I think these were done with overlays in the background of Drake's face. This might have been a green screen recording of Drake. Pretty much had an overlay on top of it after the color grade and all that, and then behind Drake they had a skull that they had kind of colored as well and kind of manipulated to give it that look. Because if you look closely, you have this, like on the sides here, they look like skull parts, like you can kind of tell clearly. The eyes. On my version, I'm gonna first play the clip for you guys so you can kind of see exactly what it looks like. With every effect, you may not be able to recreate something verbatimly, add your own twist to kind of make it look different too. So I kind of like the way this turned out. I'm definitely going to be using this in a music video soon. It's not exactly how they did it, but it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same procedure. I'm going to break this down for you guys, kind of how I did this. The only difference here in After Effects, I added a uni-zoom blur, thinking that would give it kind of a nice, unique blur effect. So it's a little bit much. Reduce that cutoff by increasing it a lot more. When I take it off, you can just see the effect a lot more. You know what I'm saying? So for example, like that, you can kind of see the breakups a little bit more, just to give an idea, to showcase what you can do. You can add your own twist, your flares, and just tweak buttons till you get the exact effect that you personally want. The first thing I did was find the image. I shot this handheld. I recommend when you're doing this effect, do not do it handheld, otherwise it won't turn out right. You can kind of tell when I played my footage for you guys, the screen or the overlay kind of moves a little bit. The reason Drake's version is so perfect because it was very stabilized. The image did not move. As it starts to pick parts of your face out, if you're moving, it'll mess up the shape. It's a mistake that I did. Don't do that mistake as well. Bring the footage, place the footage down, added my basic color grade. You don't even need to color grade it yet. Just duplicate your footage, take that footage into After Effects. Once you're in After Effects, import your overlay if you wish to use an overlay. The only reason I chose to do an overlay because I felt it would kind of give it the same look. I place your overlay on the image, make sure it's above the image for now, size it to shape. After that, change the blend mode, toggle the switches and modes if you don't see it. The best way to do this is just to put it into the Luma key option and then reduce it a little bit. I did mine around 50%, and then duplicate the main image, drag it all the way to the bottom layer. Make sure that bottom layer is now turned on. Okay, now you have your overlay. You can use your opacity, set it to whatever you like. For me, 50% was perfect, so I left it at that. Now you want to pre-compose this whole layer. And then after you pre-compose, I'm just gonna name it main for now, whatever. Doesn't matter, just follow along with me, copy, you'll be able to get it. And then after that, you wanna duplicate this layer again. On the first one, you want to rename that poly, okay? And then what we're gonna find is a pixel poly. Go into your effects tab, and you're gonna search for pixel poly. Drag that over to the first layer. You can mute this bottom layer just to see exactly what's going on. You already see it doing its thing. Very simple. That's really all it is at this point. Now you can, mess with these effects, the buttons, to kind of see what they do. The force is pretty much how fast you want it to chop off the face or whatever. The gravity is, if you want it to go down or if you want it to go up, or I kept mine at 0 so that way it stays in the center. The spinning is self-explanatory. It spins whatever direction you want it to spin, and you can basically keyframe all these different parameters to do what you want as the sequence moves. So you could really do a bunch of crazy stuff with this, you know. And the force center is basically, you know, where you want the center to be. Like as you can see, it's moving. You know, you can set it to whatever you like. Again, I just left mine at 1920 by 1080. Nothing crazy there. The direction randomness is pretty much where the direction of how fast you want the direction to go, the randomization of it. You know, the grid spacing, same thing. The grid spacing is basically how many squares or triangles or polygons you want in that image. Like I said, you could do a bunch of crazy effects with this stuff. There's so many things that I would like to do with this effect down the line to just kind of see what I can do. I've never used this before. I was just doing research and came across this. So the object tools over here, you can kind of change it to whatever you want. The textured source, for example. Let me increase this back to 250 because the bigger ones, I think that makes more sense. So you can kind of do exactly like the box shaped effect right here. You know what I'm saying? So it's really interesting. It's almost like a glitch, but not really. In the beginning of the video, I mentioned this is not the exact same effect in the same way they did it. It's because if you pay attention, it seems a little bit more 3D-ish. In some parts, and I think it's just because of the way it was shaped and done. Like I can't explain how. It's just it was properly. They took a lot of time to make sure that these polygon shapes were properly done. You know, I mean, I did this in like 10 minutes, for example. So you know, it depends on how long you want to take on it. Make sure your blending is proper. But this is pretty much how you make this effect. Like once you do this, once you go through all these effects and stuff like that, the last thing I added was this uni-zoom blur to just kind of give it a nice zoom, to give it that illusion of smoothness, you know. But yeah, man, I know I moved kind of fast on that quick breakdown, but at the end, when you're done doing, when you've added everything else, you know, come back into Premiere Pro. And then what I basically did was find the skull. Okay, I found this skull at Jiffy with the website, and I basically just masked out that part and I put it on my daughter's face and kind of faded it a little bit, you know, to just blend it well with this image, as you can see here. You know, so after you've brought this over and you blended it in, should I break that down specifically? Okay, so I took that part, chopped it up, as you can see. I brought it here, added some glow. That's extra stuff that you don't have to do. This is originally what it looks like. Used the opacity mask to kind of mask the shape of the skull and kind of framed it to her face. And I increased the feather very intensively to take off these sides, as you can see, you know. So, and then I brought again that purple overlay here and put it on top of this image to kind of blend over the original background glare that doesn't move. With all that added, you bring back the image or the polygon shape from After Effects. When you put it all together, you kind of get something like this, which is, man, it's pretty cool in my opinion. Obviously, I wouldn't use this effect for that long of duration. I would kind of keep it between 5 seconds to like 8, not even 10, maybe 10, you know. But yeah, when you put all those together, that's how you get this effect, you know. So I really hope I made sense in this video. If there's any more effect that you guys are interested in me breaking down, I will do the best I can to, you know, make it available with the available tools that we have within After Effects and Premiere Pro and just blending options, man. But yeah, as far as now, I'm sure, hopefully if I figure out another better way to do this or a third-party plugin, I'll keep you guys updated. But for right now, this is the only way I know of how to do this. If you guys know a better way of doing this, make sure you let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video. This is the next effect I'm gonna try and do tomorrow if I can figure it out, you know. So yeah, I think I have an idea of how they did it. It's pretty easy when you really know how to mask stuff and keep it moving or whatever the case may be. But yeah, man, we'll figure it out. I think I know how they did it. I think, or even if I think I know how to accomplish it is what I should say. I don't know exactly how they did it, but I think I can accomplish it. But stick around, man. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I really appreciate you guys checking out the videos. Follow me on Instagram at Dozebo, as well at The Hit Brainiac. If you need music videos or if you need edits of your music videos or whatever the case may be, send us a message and let's get to work. All right, I'm gonna see y'all soon. Peace.
The Hit Brainiac. The Hit Brainiac. The Hit Brainiac. The Hit Brainiac.
Dozebo.